Have you ever had a difficult exam? Well, I had mine back in the year 2006. I entered into the room and they gave me a paper like this one. And the chief invigilator said, you can now start writing. I immediately turned to the second page and there was a question. It was very hard, very difficult. And I immediately decided to skip the question. And I moved to section number 2. And the first question was like, read the following passage and answer the questions that follows. So it was basically a comprehension. So it went like this. Patrick is a Toastmaster from Malawi. He is a student at St. Cloud State University. The story went on. And then underneath it, there were questions. The first question was something like, who is Patrick? So because I was lazy, I just went back to the passage and looked for a statement that said Patrick is a Toastmaster from Malawi. I just copied that statement and put it as my answer. Then the next question, where is Patrick studying? I went back to the passage and copied a sentence that said Patrick is studying at St. Cloud State University. Then I went to the third question. It was a tricky question. And you know, educators use an approach where they start asking questions like from the simplest ones going to the difficult ones. So I went to the third question, and when I went back to the passage, my strategy was not working. So I said, oh, I have to skip. So I skipped question number 3. I went to question number 4. You know, I skipped over 50% of the questions in that exam. And because I still had a time, I devised a strategy. I said, well, in my class, there are about 40 students. So I have to make sure that my teacher should not be able to read what I write for the questions that I don't know. So I took my answer book and I started scribbling. And what I wrote, it was something that my teacher couldn't even read, because even myself, I couldn't read what I wrote. And I gave the invigilator my answer book. Few weeks later, my teacher came back to our class with marked scripts. She said, this exam, you guys did extremely well. Some have even scored 90 plus. But few students, they have performed miserably. And she started with she had 2 piles of marked scripts. A big pile for students who did well, and a small pile of students who did not perform well. So they started giving out marked scripts, starting from the highest score. And I couldn't hear my name. You know, guess what? My name came from the smaller bunch of papers. I was disappointed, as if I wrote right answers during exams. When I received my marked script, I looked at my answers, like the whole paper was full of lead ink. Then I was like, you know, the students who have done extremely well in this class, they might be maybe sons and daughters of these teachers, who knows? And I said, maybe perhaps it is because it is my first semester at this school, so the teachers don't know that I am smart. That's why they are punishing me. Like immediately, like I forgot about what I was doing in exams. But then there was this young boy close by. He was very quiet, and I don't know exactly what happened, but he left his marked script. When I looked at it, he had 90%. And there were words written on the first page. The teacher said, excellent. You know, if you look back to my script, there were comments like, you can do better than this. And when I looked at my friend, like he was also a newcomer like myself, none of his parents were school teachers in my class. So I said, I think I've just been looking for an excuse to accept my mediocrity. And I said to myself that enough is enough. I have to change. So I started looking at the way I conducted myself during exams. I realized that I was actually in my best form of disorganization. I was supposed indeed to fail. And looking at my friend, actually an hour before the exam, he was with other classmates discussing about strategies on how to approach the exam. In fact, not only that day, even the day before, they were busy studying while I was playing soccer with my friends. Not only that, even weeks before, in class, I was busy thinking about my home, thinking about food, thinking about Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, the movies that I used to watch during the day. My friend used to spend his time reading, revising classwork, and to no surprise, he performed extremely well during exams. So I realized that failing in exams was a result of the simple decisions that I made prior to the actual exam. I realized that examinations, the results that we saw on our marked scripts, were just recognition that this student has managed to develop the cognitive skills which school intends to develop in students. To no surprise, that's why I failed. So, Toastmasters, life is like a difficult exam that I took. It is full of challenges, and we are constantly being tested. And it is very important that we should accept that we have shortcomings and that we can make mistakes. But what is key is to develop a growth mindset, a mindset that will help us to seek opportunities and learn from people who have already achieved what we intend to achieve in life. I mean, we need to develop a hunger to make choices that will make us better human beings. Now, as you go back to your life, treat it as a difficult exam. Thank you very much.